Hi, I'm Bonzi Wells of Let's Get Technical, and I'm here to talk to you about BetterHelp. Yes, BetterHelp, Help. As a 10-year former NBA player, a lot of people think that we're invincible to everything because you have fame, you have money, you have a certain lifestyle. But people don't really get a chance to talk to you about the mental health aspects that us athletes fight with every single day. I know when I played basketball, I wish I was strong enough to be vulnerable enough to ask for help. Visit betterhelp.com/LGT. That's BetterHelp, Help, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of experienced professionals. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/LGT.
Peeps, this is Damon Stoudamire, aka Biggie Smalls, and I am today's guest on Let's Get Technical with Bonzi and Rasheed, powered by Ballislife.
Yo, yes. Hey, I'm definitely excited, good brother, man. I'm so glad to have Damon Stoudamire here, my brother, and Bonzi Wells' brother.
My brother.
Mad years out there in Portland, and man, it's just a pleasure to have you on the show with us today, good brother, man. Appreciate all the love.
You already know. I'm excited to be back on, and you guys stepped your game up a little bit. From the last time.
Yeah.
That's what happens, man. You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, we're on a new platform, big man. We done stepped it up, man. Ballislife has been blessing us, man, with everything. So it's been great. But big, we really appreciate you coming on, and I know you got a lot going on in your life right now. And let's just kind of catch up and just talk about where you're at. You made your big jump from college to the pros. Let's talk about it. Boston Celtics.
Yeah, no, it's it's a great situation. I think we all watch Boston, throughout the last 3-4 years, and we know the talent that they have over there, and they made a coaching change and they hired Ime Udoka, who we all know on here, and
shout out to Ime.
That's our brother, man.
Proud of him, for getting this opportunity, and Boston believing in him. And he reached out to me, and obviously I felt like it was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. The biggest thing is that when you look at Boston, you're building a team around two young players, in Jayson, Tatum, and Jaylen Brown, who are obviously two of the best players in this league. And, it's just a matter of them growing. The biggest thing is when I see that, guys, it kind of reminds us, I shouldn't say us, I say us meaning you two, but it reminds me of us when we were younger. Yeah. And I always say to myself, I just wish, and I don't want to go into it because we talk about it. I just wish that, Boston has been, and I thought Brad Stevens did a great job. They went to 3 straight conference finals. And for them not to break that up just like that, because, some things didn't happen that way, and letting them grow, man, you got to believe that as we move forward, they'll only get better. Their leadership will get better. Their accountability will get better. And that's the biggest thing I look forward to with this group. Them growing into leadership roles, them being able to bring everybody together. And that's what excites me, honestly. That's the biggest thing.
So with that, I know it's a huge transition, right? Of course, because with you playing in the league, you carry that experience with you. But when you went and coached at Pacific for those few years, and you were in a different role than being the head coach of young men who are trying to get to the level where you played at. But now, as Bonzi mentioned, you got that call up, so you're on the level. What do you feel like you can bring to that young team that can maybe put them over the hump from being, as you mentioned, 3 straight conference finals? Maybe they can get over that hump with some of your words of wisdom, along with you showing them. What do you think you could bring?
I'm gonna tell you, there's one thing that correlates no matter what level of basketball you're on, and that's relationships. And I think that talking to those guys and making sure their headspace is right.
Mhm.
It's so crazy. When you get to the NBA and you're trying to do special things. It's just the little things. It's about this much that separates a lot of the players, and it all has to do with your mental and your mindset
Yeah.
and how you view things. And so that's to me is going to be one of my biggest assets because um, being that I play in the league. I know those stresses. I know certain things, and it's just a matter of putting your arm around these guys and developing relationships. Because I've always said
Mhm.
it, and I believe this 100%. And it's crazy because now that I'm going back to an assistant role, I always said that if I was an assistant again, I said I'll be better than the last time I was an assistant because I sat in that seat before
Yeah.
and I know exactly what Ime needs, and I know that uh, you know keeping guys mentally prepared, keeping guys mentally fresh. Those are the things that are going to help him be a successful head coach. And so for me, that is the one biggest thing, the correlation between the relationship that you're able to have with the players, and then the biggest thing is not always the basketball working on your game, is what's going on between your ears at the same time.
Yeah. And you just mentioned, Dan, about relationships, and people don't really understand the dynamics with Coach Ime, and yourself. Ime was, our young guy, somebody that you raised up from a young end, and somebody that me and Rasheed met once we got to Portland. But now he's going to be like, you mentored him. Now he's going to be the head coach, and you're going to be his assistant. How is that dynamic going to play out? And I know Ime is a very respectful guy. And I know he loves you like a big bro. But how do you do? You think that's going to be different for you?
I don't think it'll be different. I mean, you guys know how I am.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I think what makes him comfortable is that I don't have an ego about none of that.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate. I've been a head coach, and the biggest thing for me is to help him be successful.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that matters to me. Um,
Mhm.
like I said, now that I am an assistant again, I feel like I can be 100 times better because I thought I knew, but I didn't know
Yeah.
because I hadn't been a head coach. And so the things that I'll do and the way that I'll approach him is little things, subtle things, reminders, because those are the things that you forget
That
about.
carries over. Mhm.
It's just the little things. Don't forget we talked about this morning. You got to, what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
the little things, and I think us as a staff, that's gonna be the most important thing for us to just help him, um, in all those areas, so he can concentrate on the job at hand.
Oh, definitely, yeah, and like you said, this is your second go round with it. For those who don't know, you coached in Memphis as well, but I definitely feel you with saying that because it's a team effort.
No.
Everyone thinks that it's always the head coach that's doing that, mastermind, blah blah blah, but it's all in one hand. Come on with the other. But I will say you are going to two different extremes, good brother.
Right,
The nice, Pacific
right.
Coast Highway to now you're getting snowstorms every weekend.
Well, I tell you what. I haven't been in that cold weather and lived in it since I actually lived in Toronto when I was,
Ooh.
my first 3 years. So definitely got to get out there and get my skull cap game back up. I got to get my big coat game back up. I haven't had to wear big.
Man.
You know what I mean? So I'm up here. I'm debating now whether I'm gonna get a house or might just do a condo. So I had an underground parking. You know what I mean? I need that underground parking, all the different things, the concierge. It would be lovely if somebody can change my diaper from that standpoint because I sure don't want to go outside and be shoveling snow and
Shovel
everything.
that snow. Yeah.
But I'm,
And
but I'm, but I'm also excited. I'm also excited. It's crazy. I'm excited from the standpoint of this. Um, I haven't been in a city. In Toronto, it was different, but I haven't been in a city that I feel like. And Sheed, you played in Boston. I haven't been in a
hmm
where they love all the sports teams out there, and there's just a whole lot going on from that perspective. So, in addition to us, you have the Patriots, you have the Red Sox. Man, it's exciting times for me. So, it's just a lot. It's going to be a lot to do in your spare time, and I'm just excited, man. To be honest with you, I'm ready to go.
And so, Big, speaking of Toronto, good brother, I mean, we both played in the NBA. We both experienced some things. But how did it feel to be the number one pick of the expansion franchise, Toronto Raptors, back then in '95 during our draft? Like, what was going through your head when they was like, and the Toronto Raptors select Damon Stoudamire? Like, what was going through your head, man?
Man. At that time, I was just happy to get drafted.
Word.
So I didn't even think about playing in Toronto. I just happy to get drafted. It didn't matter. But then when I went back, when we, because you went before me, we went back to the green room and we're talking to the media and everything. I was getting questions about how does it feel that you could possibly be the face of the country? And that's kind of when it started hitting me.
Wow.
I leave the green room and then, I go back to the draft is right there. Obviously Toronto's headquarters was literally set up, 2 minutes away. I go in there and then I see Isaiah Thomas and, I see Walker D. Russell and, the whole crew. And I was just like, wow, so what people don't know is leading up to that draft, and I remember this vividly. So I was talking to my coach, Ludos, and so we were playing Michigan in Auburn Hills, and he told me, that, Isaiah was a big fan of mine. So what happened is as we're playing Michigan, just as Isaiah would do, and I know you were in New York with him, just as Isaiah would do, he sat and watched games in the tunnel. And the whole game we played Michigan and Auburn Hills, he was in the tunnel. And what would be the home team's tunnel, because you obviously played for Detroit. He was in that tunnel, and every time I would look, I would kind of look over there at him if I did something nice, and he was staring right at me. And you know what? I don't know. I really felt the connection with him. I went out to Toronto to work out, and he basically told me that if KG was there at 7, he was going to take him, but he didn't believe he was going to be there that long. And if KG wasn't there, then he was going to draft me. And I didn't even really work out. We just talked. We talked ball. I mean, just about as good a dude as I could really come in the league with, because it wasn't even really about him being my GM. I can remember flying out to Michigan and going to his house, and Lynn embracing me, and me and Isaiah just sitting there, and that's when Lauren and Joshua were little kids, and man, embraced me like I was part of their family, man. And I would, come on now, it's like Saturday afternoon, and I'm sitting in Isaiah Thomas' house chilling.
Wow. Just chilling.
I'm just chilling. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of the family, and that's how he treated me. He treated me as one of the family. Met his mom. Knew all his brothers. It was for me. I couldn't have came in the league with a better organization, and then forget the fact that he was general manager and all that stuff. A better mentor, for me, kind of showing me the way.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. You've been definitely blessed, and a lot of people don't get an opportunity to have a mentor or somebody to take a player under their wing like Isaiah did for you and kind of teach you the ropes. So you've been blessed. So let's fast forward to now. You're about to go through one of your first draft with the Boston Celtics. You got a couple of nice stars up there with Tatum and Brown. I mean, those two superstars. I mean, those guys are the future of the NBA. what would you guys be looking for since you traded away one of your superstars, Kemba Walker? What are you guys going to be looking for within the draft, and what are you expecting out of those big two moving forward through the season?
Well, Wells, I haven't really been privy to those conversations, but in the dialogue with Ime, and talking with him, we're just looking for, Jayson and Jaylen to just continue to grow.
Yeah.
I think I personally think that, you can look up and that can be the best tandem in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Their games are different, so you're not fighting each other.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of them finding a balance, coexisting together all the time. And that's, for me, that's what I want to help that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. When I look back through my time in the NBA as a player and a player only, and obviously Ime was there in San Antonio, and I can only go off of what I've seen. I thought Popovich and the staff handled that nucleus, that big three, really well. Mm-hmm. And we're able to put the right pieces around it to make it thrive and be successful. I think it has to be some give and take. The one thing I know about good players, great players, is they want to be coached. So we got to coach both of those guys to match that talent and get it all out of them. That's the only thing I care about. I want to be able to love on them, but I also want to be able to be tough with them and let them know when they're not doing what they need to do. Because a lot of people are going to be looking at them. You guys know we've all been the guys on our team at one time or another, and you got to be helped. You got to be able to hold your best players accountable.
Yeah.
If you want to be successful. Right. And for me, that's how I see the situation with those two great players.
Yeah, they definitely are. I would say some of that new good young blood that's out there in the league.
No question.
And what the league needs too, because I definitely get down with both of them.
If you just think about it, right? And Boston caused some bad breaks this year.
Yeah.
But I mean they've been to 3 straight conference finals, before the season, and that means a lot. Think about it, fellas. When we was together, we went to 2 straight.
Yeah.
We probably was headed for 3 straight too, but they broke the squad up. You know what I mean? So it's hard to do. But when you get a nucleus like that, if you just let it grow, because these guys are so young, man.
Yeah.
So to me, the thing about it is that, coming from college and then looking at these guys are pros, and yes, we know that they're pros, but they're still human too, man. And that the human element of all this stuff is what we be forgetting about sometimes. We start critiquing, we start doing these different things, but we forget to love on them.
Yeah.
And if you love on them, then you come behind them with the tough love, you tend to get the best out of folks. You know what I mean? So
fact. Yeah, that's little coaching tips and tricks. Yeah, I picked up and learned too. Along that way.
Yeah, Dame definitely told me that when I started my coaching carousel. He told me I had to learn that trade, and that definitely paid off for me tremendously. So,
hey, go ahead, Will. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, brother.
No, I was gonna say it's sugar and hot sauce is what I like to call it, because sometimes you just you gotta be able to get it to your best players, man. I always say this. I believe this. I do believe that you got to coach role players. I don't know if role players necessarily lose games for you. I don't. I'm not saying that they can't be at fault sometimes, but what I'm saying is you always want to tone win, lose, or draw from your best players.
Yeah.
And whether you go out of there with a win or a loss, because we've all been there. We've lost games. We was like, man, they were just a better team tonight, but it didn't have to do with our energy and our effort.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we know about NBA is this energy and effort. When you don't come out and play with energy and effort, the skill don't matter at that time anymore. Okay, you can turn it on and turn it off at times, but if you keep that foot on the pedal, and you got a constant motor, and you're able to do that like guys rock with you, and that's how I see this situation.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about what we got going on in the NBA Finals. We're seeing two of the smallest market teams ever in NBA Finals, and it's big. I mean, you have big stars in Giannis, you have big stars in Devin Booker and Chris Paul. How do you feel about the matchup, Dame? And what are some of your insights on some of the plays that's going on within the playoffs?
Well, number one, I'll just say I'm happy that this is the first time we're watching the finals where it's the unknown. I love it. I love the unknown. We're
Yeah,
usually watching the usual suspects, but we have a group of stars that are in this finals that somebody's going to win their first title.
yeah,
Doesn't matter who it is. Somebody's going to win their first
Yeah.
title. So we're going to have to elevate them a little bit. And you know, um, the second piece to that is regardless of how they got there, because we know Phoenix plays some injury riddled teams. We can sit up here and maybe say, okay, maybe Milwaukee don't get there if Kyrie's injured. But the way I look at it is that, man, they there now.
yeah,
And I think it's been a hell of a series up to this point. Chris Paul, for me, I told somebody, for me, he's turned back the clock, man. And he looked every bit as good at 36 as he did when he first came in the league
yeah,
as a sophomore, leaving weight. He set the tone for their team.
Mm-hmm.
He's allowed Devin Booker to be Devin Booker.
yeah,
But the biggest thing, and I know y'all appreciate this because we talk about it all the time.
yeah,
We did it a lot in Portland. Man, I just really like the way that DeAndre Ayton is playing. For me, I think DeAndre Ayton is like one of the only big dudes up in here that's punishing that mismatch when they throw it to him. He
yeah,
makes layups, he makes dunks. So I just really like that Phoenix team. And then Milwaukee, it's crazy. Um, I think about game. If I had to say, because I watched them,
yeah,
but I didn't really watch the whole series against Brooklyn until starting about game five. I felt like from game five on, I felt like they became a different team. And I think that catapulted them into the playoffs and excuse me, into the finals. But, right now, it just, as I watch the finals, I get it. Even though they got their butts kicked last night, I like Phoenix, man. I like their guards, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I don't see Devin Booker shooting like that again.
no,
I don't see CP off his stride again.
mhm,
Right.
Um,
yeah,
DeAndre Ayton is doing him. You know, the Bridges kid is really good.
yeah,
Um, they listen. Phoenix is they're playing about as good a basketball as you see collectively as a group.
yeah,
Everybody that's coming on the floor is contributing for them, and I tell you what, I'm glad that Milwaukee won because it's gonna make for an entertaining game tomorrow. I tell you, uh, if Milwaukee has to play tomorrow's game like it's Game 7. They can't go back to Phoenix down 3-1.
no,
They couldn't go down 3-0, but they can't go down 3-1 either. They got to hold serve if they want any chance in this series. So, uh,
Right. Right.
and then lastly, with everything that I'm saying, it's crazy because we talked about a little bit off air. Haven't even talked about Giannis, and my man is two straight 40 and 10, 40 and 10 games.
yeah.
Yeah, too.
And
Uh-oh.
it's just he is. I hear a lot of people ridicule his game, man, but I don't know what we're trying to ridicule. So we just gotta enjoy it, man. And this kid, he got a lot of room for growth, and let's see what he does tomorrow, man. He got to bring it home, but we'll see.
Yeah, you definitely. I know for me myself, being an old head, I definitely tip my hat to Chris Paul, because he's making DeAndre Ayton look a cajillion times better than what he is. But Chris
Dang.
Paul has that knack of. But listen, it's no disrespect. Chris Paul has that knack of doing it with a lot of the bigs he played with. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? If you look at, he did that with Jordan in LA when they were with the Clippers. You know,
Yep.
what would they call themselves? Lob City.
Lob City. Yep.
Yeah, he made and Blake. He made those guys look good. And also, what didn't he have Tyson Chandler? I think, or down in New Orleans.
Yeah, I played with him last year.
Yeah, he had Tyson Chandler, and so
he definitely make his big men a lot better. You know what I'm saying? He definitely incorporates them into the game, especially now. I think with it being so important is, as you mentioned, Biggs, Aiden he just punishing the small threes that's guarding them, because you know they all want to go 5 wide in the corner, and he hits them with that pick and roll every time. You know, you can almost it's not as good, but on some ways it's a little bit the same way with its effectiveness, with the same way Stockton and Malone was. And Aiden, he can't shoot. I'm not calling him Malone. I'm not calling him Malone, Bonzi, because I know that's what you're about to say.
He's in his second year. He's in his second year, Dang.
But no, he just finishes well around that basket. I mean, shit, it's a 2-foot bucket that Chris Paul sets him up with every time, dog. Every time.
Well, it's funny, Big. We talked off the air about this certain player named Giannis, and I love the way you broke down his game, but it's somebody that I know that don't feel the same way. Why do you think Giannis is getting so much hate in the playoffs so much? I mean, I know he shot a couple air balls. He's had a couple bad games, but you got to think about this man. He hyperextended his knee where a lot of people probably would have sat out. He came in, he played maybe his worst game of the season in game 1, but these last 3 games he's been playing like a monster. Why do you think he received so much hate?
I mean, we gotta hate somebody, I guess. I just as I watch the game, and you know what, I become a bit sensitive and soft as I become a coach, man, because I just don't always want to beat down the player like it's their fault all the time. But this is what I say: to me, man, Giannis is an athlete playing basketball. I think Giannis, like Giannis is a world-class athlete that's playing basketball, and he's won 2 MVPs. And truth be told, he's still got a ceiling that's probably as higher than anybody in the league. So all I'm saying is
that's scary.
If he actually get that ceiling,
that
could be really, I mean, I'm just saying, he's right now, he puts his head down and he's running cats over and everything, but I just feel like he still has a ceiling, and he's 26 years old, so I think a lot remains to be seen, and I don't know, and I'm not with him every day and the different things, but whether it's him or whether it's Chris Paul, which one, but I would tend to lean toward Giannis more so in this sense. I would be interested to see how that catapults his career moving forward if he was able to bring these guys back and win a chip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now you got the MVPs to go behind the chip. We all know once we, whatever that might have been for us as individual players, when we get to that point, it's like, oh man, I figured it out. Everything else slowed down.
Yeah.
And to me, at times things haven't slowed down. He's won MVP twice. So I'm just interested, man. I'm interested game 4, and I'm interested to just see the growth of him just throughout this series. But like I say, Wells, we got to have a protagonist and we got to have an antagonist. And my thing is that I try to give everybody the other side, So everybody's saying, well, man, he can't shoot threes. He airballing free throws. Well, that just means he hasn't figured it out yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Damon, I want to hear from the antagonist too, named Mr. Wallace. Mr. Wallace, let me direct that same, because you're a power forward, Sheed, and he plays your position.
Yep.
Let me hear you, because we talked about it off air. We would love to hear your position on Giannis.
Well, hold on. First of all, look, I had this. First of all, Giannis can't shoot. This dude right here, different mentality, right? And then first of all, Giannis can't shoot threes like Sheed. He can't. We playing.
I'm not even putting that into the equation, though. Okay.
I need to. Okay, let me hear. Let's hear.
So here's my thing. Here's why I'm giving him so much flack right now, because all right, this is your third trip to the NBA Finals, right? Here it is, as you or second.
This is first trip.
First trip. My bad. But 2-time MVP, right?
Yeah.
So you want to get to that plateau to where you do win it, right? So as you mentioned, I agree. If Kyrie wouldn't have got hurt, yeah, that would have been a tough series for them.
Yeah.
For the last one. But my thing where I lost a lot of respect for him is, again, if you 2-time MVP, yeah, we all know you can't shoot. But for that, you make it up with other accolades. Okay, he's a good defender. He's a good rebounder, right? But then it comes time, you got the sniper. And when KD plays, to me, we all can agree on this, that he's the best player in the league. He's the most efficient, and he's the best player in the league, right?
Yeah.
So here it is. If I'm the 2-time MVP, I'm supposed to be the man on my squad, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to ask the guy who just came on the team and PJ Tucker, who's a good defender and not knocking him, taking nothing away. I'm not going to sit up there and ask Drew to guard him neither, not taking nothing away from him, but both of them are too small. KD's 7 feet, 7'1". So when he jumped, he's shooting right over him. Well, Lopez is too slow to guard KD. So now, who's the best matchup to guard KD? Giannis. Where is Giannis? Giannis is guarding other guys who's not influential in the offense on both teams. To me, I can't get with that because I lay my hat on defense, and to me, that's how he won his MVPs was on defense. Because we know the shit damn sure wasn't on offense, and you can't win no MVPs doing a Euro step forever. So we know this. But no, you can't be hiding. Here it is. They got their best player with the ball. This for game. And KD barely missed that joint, yo. He barely missed it. So just think if Giannis, here it is, I'm contesting too, and you're right there with him, it's going to be a harder shot. That's all I'm saying. Don't run from that challenge. You 2-time MVP. How the hell are you going to run from the challenge of guarding one of the best players in this game right now, man? That's all I'm saying about the Bull. And then here it is in the Atlanta series and now with the Phoenix series. Okay, they don't have that caliber sniper of KD, but, you know, Devin Booker is awesome. You know, in Atlanta, of course, they was riding the coattails of Trae Young. But in those series, now you all, let's go, let's get this. You all like, you wasn't doing that in the Brooklyn series, dog. That's what I'm saying. 2-time MVP, though, huh?
And defense.
That's my take. Yeah, that's my take.
Damn, well.
Bonzi.
Tell them how you really feel then, Sheed. Sweet
Tell them why you mad, son.
Sweet Jesus.
So you think about this though. So I'll add to that story. I'll add to what Sheed said. So people in Peanut Gallery knows why he is the way he is. So we used to have shoot-arounds in Portland. So she come in, peeps. He come in with his Timbos on, depending on Timbos, and the arenas were really cold back then. We weren't in practice facilities and all that, and you know we used to wear our practice jersey, you know, with our sweatshirts underneath and stuff. And anyway, we going over the scout reports now. It didn't matter if we played Karl Malone, Tim Duncan, KG, Charles It did all them guys at that time. If I had my skull cap on right now, it wasn't the summer. I put it to the side, and then we'll go over the scouting report, and then Dunleavy will go over like what we doing. Okay, we're going to double, and she'd be like, "We're not doubling, dog." I got it. We get into the game. It's so funny because it's not like nobody was going to double. We'd be in the game, and next thing you know, one of them would catch the ball. She'd be like, "I got it. Don't come.
Stay.
Don't come. I got it." So I can live with what you just said. I can live with that. I can live with that.
Take that challenge. Here's the other thing about it to me that gets me a little bit even more riled up, yo. Who's Giannis's favorite player? It's KD. So here it is. Okay, I'm playing against my idol. I'm not going to bitch and run. Kobe ain't run when first time he played against Mike. You know what I'm saying? You ain't running the first time you played against your idol. Bonzi, you ain't running the first time you played against yours, and I ain't running the first time I played against Pat Ewing. But you going, bro, come on. Hey, what else?
I already know. So let me ask y'all this question. Do y'all think a guy like Giannis will benefit from a better coach, a better team of friends around him, or both?
Both.
What you think, Big?
You know, like I said, I get sensitive with coaching piece. I just think that when I look at Giannis, I just think he got a lot. I just think he got a lot of room for growth, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I say is when I look at him, I just look at a guy that when I look at his face, he yearns for the answers. I don't think, I've never heard him, like I said, I've never heard him make an excuse and all that stuff. And that's really what I love about him. And like you say, sometimes we and she, your points were valid, but I think that sometimes other people pick at him because he might not just say nothing back. Sometimes we like to pick at the people that don't talk back. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm just saying, man, like they 3 wins away, and he has a chance to. He has a chance to change his legacy moving forward. Doesn't matter how you got there. People can say, "Oh, it was injuries. It was that." Well, I remember when Isaiah Thomas twisted his ankle and they lost the Lakers. I also remember the next year, Magic Johnson sprained his hamstring. Byron Scott got injured, and they beat the Lakers. Injuries is a part of sports, man. Yeah. It happens, and you got one thing about it. You got to take advantage and seize the moment. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I've definitely said that before. That every team every year that lost can speak on their team having an injury or facing some type of adversity. During the season on why they didn't win. So you spoke on it earlier, and I've been having this debate with Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, and all these guys about Chris Paul and being a point guard and his legacy, and coming from one of the top point guards in the history of the game as yourself. Where do you see Chris Paul's legacy being, and where would you rank him at, Damon, in terms of point guard, or would he have to win a championship for you to even elevate himself in that ranking?
I look at point guards. I look at point guards different than a way a lot of these guys look at point guards. Mm-hmm. I think, I'll say this first. I keep hearing everybody say Steph Curry's a point guard. I think Steph is just a guard. I think Steph is in a category over here.
With Kobe and Mike, the greatest scorers?
Well, I wouldn't even say that. I think he's just created his own lane. I think we got to put him in almost a lane of his own because, he's he can play with it or he can play without it, but we just hadn't seen nothing like it. So when you hadn't seen nothing like it, you just try to put him in where it's supposed to be. Yeah. And I just don't. I don't think that he's a point guard. Do I think he's one of the best players to play the game? I do, but I don't think he's a point guard. When I look at Chris Paul and the point guards that I've seen, and I do my stuff differently, man. People try to put airs, and I didn't see these guys play, so I can't put guys in there that I didn't see play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just for me. So when I look at point guards, obviously for me, when I think of point guards, the first 2 people I think of is Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas. There ain't no debate for me. Them are the first 2 guys I think about. And I think that after that, I have no particular order with who I'm about to say, but is who I think. Is who I think. I would throw John Stockton up in there. Yeah. Because I don't think people have no clue like what dude really used to do to the games. Now we know because we played him in some wars down there.
Yeah.
And I thought dude was pretty damn good. I thought he was pretty damn good because when you look at those Utah teams, they weren't really that good. Him and Malone made everything click.
Yep.
So I got those guys there. I got Jayson Kidd. And like I said, once again, I'm going off the guys that I've seen play.
Yeah.
I can't go off guys that I'm only watching highlights. You know what I mean? And I thought the reason I put Jay Kidd up in there is because of why when he won that title in Dallas, that elevated his status.
Yeah.
That elevated his status for me. He was always one of the best, but that elevated his status. He got a title behind his name.
Yes, sir.
So I think that Chris Paul is no different. I think that if he wins a title, and not only if he wins the title, is how he's playing right now.
Yeah.
You know, he's not playing like he's on the downside of his career. He's a big part of what they're doing. I mean, right now, his mid-range is just straight wet. I mean, right now, every time he shoots the ball, you think it's going in. Am I right? Like every time Chris Paul has become a better shooter than he was earlier in his career. Every time Chris Paul come off a ball screen and he get to his spot, he don't see them dudes. They can't block his shot. They can contest it. It don't matter. It's still going in. That's how he's playing. So for me, yes, Chris Paul definitely for me, if he wins a title, he elevates himself into that talk as one of the top 5 point guards of all time.
I respect that.
Yeah, fact. No, I'm with you. You know, he's definitely a game changer, dog.
And then you say, like I say this again too, just once again for the people. Steph Curry in a lane of his own, man. We listen. We start trying to make stuff up, man. We don't know what lane he in. Mm-hmm. We don't know what lane.
See, you know what it is though, Biggs. It's like to be honest, Chris Paul isn't doing nothing different with his game. It's just the fact that the game around him has evolved. And like you just mentioned, we're in today's game, a lot of the people are used to seeing the Steph Curry threes. You know, you have a lot more players pulling up from 45, 50 feet thinking that it's a good shot. You know, Steph Curry threes. But Chris, even if you go back and look at his you know, earlier films, yeah, he was always going with the mid-range. But as you mentioned, yes, as he became that veteran, that mid-range became more wet, and I think it stands out now. The same thing, if you ask me, with Westbrook, with him taking the mid-range shots, I think it stands out now with them because we're so used to seeing, you know, 35 threes, 40 threes hoisted up a game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now here we got an all-star point guard, you know, a veteran point guard, who is just showing you that, look, now I'm going to stick with this old shit that I'm doing right here. Yeah. So as soon as you try to step up to block my shot, boom, Aiden, boom, Booker, corner, 3, boom, Mikal Bridges, corner, 3, boom. I'm going to just keep it simple. And that's all he's doing, man. I don't think he's really doing nothing different. And he is playing phenomenal ball right now. And Bonzi, who was my pick before all of this started? Can you tell me?
You call Phoenix early. You call Phoenix early. You know, it's crazy. You know, I got a chance to play with CP back in 08. You know, he was young in the league. You know, I used to tell people back then, Chris Paul could average 30 points in this league if he wanted to. But he's such an authentic point guard that he, you know, the team we had back then, if you think about this crew, he would start at the point. We had Morris Peterson at the 2, Peja Stoudamire at the 3, David West at the 4, Tyson Chandler at the 5. So you basically had 2 snipers on the wing. You had a pick and roll rim guy in Tyson Chandler, and you had a pick and pop guy in David West. So he used to just work the screen and roll and get everybody in position to get shots every single night, and he just made everybody better. And when I got on the team, he didn't even really know me, but he used to throw me the ball in places because I'm a cut slasher guy. I'm talking about on target. All I had to do was just finish. And that's the type of guard Chris Paul is. He's so unselfish. And what I also loved about him is that he competed on both sides of the ball. People don't really understand how much energy it takes to run a team and be on the other side taking the challenge on the best players and some of the best point guards in the game. Chris Paul done that. I think he's deserving in the top 5 nod, especially if he win a championship. And, you know, I'm looking in my pick. I got Phoenix in 6. I don't know what your guys' numbers is. I would love to hear them, but I got Phoenix in 6.
Yeah, man. That's a good pick. I don't know, the way it's looking, it's shit. It probably will be that.
What you thinking, Big?
I got Phoenix. I mean, I don't know how Phoenix. I don't think I haven't seen Phoenix play two back to back bad games in a long time. That's the first thing. And I definitely don't see those guards playing bad back to back.
Everybody can't play bad.
I just don't see it. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I don't see it.
Man, so could you imagine if we can fast forward and take our 2000 team and play in today's era? What type of shit y'all think we would be doing to these boys in this type of era? The way it's so free, carefree, you can play, and they can't touch you.
Well, you know the thing about it, we don't even got to bring the 2000 team into it. We can just stick to the Chris Paul discussion because he's 36. So my point is saying that when everybody says what are the differences, I think that we're seeing it with Chris Paul.
Yeah,
we're seeing it, exactly. Because the game is played free. He's not touched. It's a lot of switching ball screens. He's been able to sustain, because of the style of play that's played right now. They always, and I know y'all see it, they always show the highlights and the way we played. But ironically enough, it's been a couple high scoring games, but man, these games been defensive struggles.
Yeah.
These dudes. It was one game I seen. I can't remember what playoff game it was. I think it was double overtime, and I think it was just in the 110s somewhere around there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the crazy thing about it, and nobody talks about this because, like I said, once again, they always say how we have felt as players. I don't know if the coaching had evolved at that time enough to be at the level of what it was. So you take when Mike D'Antoni came and when he got to Phoenix, and I tell people this all the time. See, people forget Mike D'Antoni was with us in Portland for that year.
Yep.
Man, Mike D'Antoni used to stand next to me at practice every day and used to say, "Man, I wish I had this team. Man, we'd be getting up and down. We'd be running." Y'all remember that?
Yeah, he used to tell us all the time.
Mike D'Antoni said every day. He said, "Damon, if I had you at point guard, man, we'd be running. We'd be pushing the ball, man. We'd be running. We'd be dunking. He said that every day.
Yeah.
But at that time, nobody was believing it because he just came off winning 9 games with Denver.
Yep.
But he said
remember that. They don't remember that.
The moment he got to Phoenix, the moment they got Steve Nash, man, that thing just went pure. And that, to me, stuff changed then. But I just think like the way the game is played today, I think it's funner. I think it's a little bit longevity. I would have loved Quiet is kept. I love playing. Look, remember we used to 82 games was such a badge of honor back then. Man, dudes didn't want to sit out.
Not at all.
Man,
for real.
I bragged about playing 82 games. Nowadays, man, they say, man, go ahead and take a couple days off. All right, cool.
I'm with you. 82 games
about that.
But back in the day, if you miss a practice, a game, somebody coming for your spot. You ain't want nobody.
And you might not get it back.
Man, you might not get it back. And you know how that worked out. The guy come in for a day and he'd have 27. Something stupid. Have his best game.
Especially in Portland.
Yeah, you already know because dudes used to be chopping at the bit to get in there and get those extended minutes. Chopping at the bit. I remember guys like the homie Ruben Patterson. Boy, I knew I couldn't twist an ankle, do nothing because Rube was just right there, just waiting in the wings.
and then here it is, my same thing. Because everybody thought I took it personal and all this when I was with the Blazers and they drafted Jermaine. I'm like, shit, nah, that's my little brother now. But yeah, same thing. If I got hurt, man, and he was right behind me, shit, I might not got that spot back. You know what I mean? It's pushing one another. That's what we miss in this game today, man. That camaraderie.
Hey, J.O. used to go so hard in practices back then.
No, we called him the kid. You talking about the skinny kid before he turned into the Hulk?
Yeah, the kid.
But yeah, man, we got to tell our story, man. We got to get on wax and get our documentary out there, man, because we got a lot of interesting stories to tell about our days, man, especially our side of the story, and just give people an understanding of who the fuck we was back then, man. Because a lot of people don't, they got such a narrative about us and narrow-minded. So it's time, man. What y'all thinking? Y'all think we need to go and put something out there?
Yeah, man, it's that negative narrative. So
yeah,
hey, why not? It'll make for some good TV. Pip got a book. Everybody else coming out. Hey, why not?
We just gotta start somewhere. But what's crazy about it? I was telling somebody this the other day. I said, man, we had a really good team and we had good guys on our team, but now we got. I think that the thing that's crazy about it is we had second generation guys. So who would have ever thought that Cole Anthony be running around them halls and Domas, Sabonis. Then we got
young Brunson.
Young look.
Young
little
Jay.
Little thick Brunson Jaylen.
Little Jaylen.
Jaylen used to always say, so shut up. That's all he used to say.
little Scotty.
Little Pip back there, and then we got shoots. Then we got it, shoots. Because she had a hell of a year as a freshman at Texas. J.O.'s daughter Asha. So she she's one of the top volleyball players. Asia. She's one of the top volleyball players in the country, man.
And don't forget young Trent.
Yep. Look
young Gary Trent.
Yep. G Trent here.
Look out for Kemp. Look out for Sean Kemp's kids. They coming through. Yep. He got some baby goons coming through.
Yeah.
We climb. We up there, dog.
We getting old, dog. We need to end it now, man. We need to get old, man. We stand our age, but yeah, Dane, man. We don't want to keep up no more of your time, man. We really appreciate you stopping through and
yes, sir.
Staying with us, man. We love you, man, as a brother, man. We just so proud of you, man, and just to see what you're doing has been inspiring for myself, and I know Rasheed, man. So just keep everything up, man. Keep inspiring the next generation, man. We love you and blessings to you, man, in your new endeavor being with the Boston Celtics, my brother.
Appreciate y'all. Love y'all, man. Love y'all.
Yes, sir.